This whole week, a debate has raged on social media on some of our most draconian laws like the National Security Act and the Sedition law, which have been used by governments over the years simply to silence voices that they don't like. This week, former JNU students Kanhaiya Kumar and Umar Khalid were charged with sedition in a charge sheet filed by the Delhi police for allegedly shouting anti-Indian India slogans a couple of years ago. Now, sedition cases, by the way, were also filed against an 80-year-old Sahitya Academy awardee and Assamese writer Hiren Gohain for comments that he made on the Citizenship Amendment Bill in Assam, an 80-year-old scholar. A journalist in Manipur has been jailed under the National Security Act for posting a video criticizing the BJP-led state government, and the magistrate's order in his case says that he abused and made obscene gestures in that video. The UP police, meanwhile, have also slapped the same National Security Act against those it accuses of killing cows in the BULANDSHAHR episode. Of course, they have not used the NSA against those who murdered the police officer that day, bringing us to ask this question tonight about whether it is time for India to let go of these colonial-era sedition and national security laws. Adil Singh Boparai of the Congress joining us, Anil Jha of the BJP, Mr. Shekhar Gupta stays with us. We also have Bablu Loithenbaum, Director of Human Rights Alert, joining us from Manipur tonight. Mr. Loithenbaum, I want to begin with you. The case of the journalist in Manipur is something that is absolutely shocking. I mean, if you could tell viewers, because often, it seems that the rest of India is so disconnected from what is happening in Manipur. But what exactly is he accused of doing? As I said, he's accused of basically criticizing the BJP-led government and posting a video. How is that, a threat to the nation?
Yeah, absolutely. It is not just you and me giving a judgment on this. He was initially arrested under the normal law, under IPC sections, and the judge have already perused the matter, and the judge have commented that what he found
criticizing the government was basically using street language, and he was granted bail to go away and face the prosecution as and when it is required. But unfortunately, immediately after he was released on bail, he was again arrested on the NSA. And criticizing a government by no stretch of imagination can be seen as a threat to the nation. This is very unfortunate. This is a completely arbitrary exercise of an extraordinary power. And the NSA board has also given the maximum punishment of 1 year. Considering the fact that the judge who has perused the matter have already said that he should be granted bail because he was basically criticizing a public authority for a public policy using street languages. So the use of NSA is completely unnecessary and disproportionate to the offense that he has committed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to take that to Mr. Anil Jha of the BJP, that Anilji, why should this journalist be in jail under the National Security Act? You just heard there a prominent human rights activist talking about what he said. क्या अब सरकार को criticize करना, सरकार के खिलाफ कुछ बोलना, वो भी मतलब that affects India's security?
मुझे लगता है कि अलग-अलग स्टेट्स पे जो भी केसेस हैं ऐसे सेडिशंस को लेकर के, कई बार हमारे टीवी चैनल्स पे इस इश्यूज पर डिबेट होता है, लेकिन उसको ये बता दिया जाता है कि 1860s के अंदर ब्रिटिशर्स रूल था, IPC 114 उस समय चार्जेस लगाए गए थे, लेकिन उस समय मैंने पहले भी कहा था, उस समय भारत के द्वारा नागरिकों द्वारा चुनी हुई सरकारें नहीं थी. उस समय एक ऐसे ब्रिटिश गवर्नमेंट थी जो हमारे लिए चुनी हुई सरकार नहीं थी. ब्रिटिश गवर्नमेंट उस समय मूवमेंट्स को कोलैप्स करने के लिए ये चार्जेस लगाते थे. लेकिन उस समय की काल स्थिति और परिस्थितियों में और आज में बड़ा फर्क है. आज हमारी डेमोक्रेटिक सरकार है, हमारे यहाँ संघीय ढांचा है, और मैं ये समझता हूँ जो हमारी सरकारें हैं या जहाँ कहीं भी सरकारें हैं वो बदले की भावना से काम नहीं कर रही हैं.
आप बताइए, ये मणिपुर के जो पत्रकार हैं ये जेल में क्यों हैं?
देखिए, मैं इसके ऊपर इतनी डीपली स्टडी आप मुझे कहेंगे क्यों है और उनके ऊपर NSA क्यों लगाया गया है या नेशनल सिक्योरिटी के वो खिलाफ क्या कर रहे थे, लेकिन इस देश में मैं बड़ी विनम्रता से कह रहा हूँ, ह्यूमन राइट एक्टिविज्म के कारण से उसके पर्दे के पीछे बहुत सारी ऐसी एक्टिविटीज़ होती हैं जो सही मायने में इस देश के लिए, नेशनलिज्म के लिए या भारत की राष्ट्रीयता के लिए वो ठीक नहीं है, इसलिए उनको लगा दिया गया, इसलिए वो जेल में है।
नहीं,
इस पर इसके कई मानदंड हो सकते हैं।
आप मुझे बताइए, एन 80-year-old स्कॉलर इन असम, साहित्य अकेडमी विनर, उन्होंने सिटीजनशिप अमेंडमेंट बिल को क्रिटिसाइज किया। व्हाई इज ही इन जेल? आई मीन, व्हाई इज ही बीइंग चार्ज्ड विद सेडिशन?
देखिए, मैं फिर कह रहा हूँ, सिटीजनशिप अमेंडमेंट बिल जो है उसके कई सारे इश्यूज,
तो अब उसके खिलाफ बोलना भी आपको सेडिशन लगता है?
देखिए, वो गलत तरीके से चीजों को पेश करेंगे तो वो चीज अलग है।
वो सेडिशन,
हमने कहा कि बंगाली हिंदूज और असमिया हिंदू के बीच में आप कोलैप्स करके और एक तरीके से भारतीय संघीय ढांचे को चुनौती देंगे, तो उम्र का फर्क नहीं है। लॉ ब्रेक होता है, रूल ऑफ लॉ के हिसाब से सरकारें चलती हैं।
This is so casual. I mean, now you can't criticize a law, you can't criticize the government, you can't make a video against the government. And the Congress, frankly, Adil Boparai, has used these same laws when it was in power. Don't forget the incident of Asim Trivedi, the cartoonist, who was thrown in jail for sedition because there was a cartoon that the Congress-led government didn't like. So, and today when Kapil Sibal and other Congress leaders say, Mr. Chidambaram say that, these are colonial era laws that should be scrapped. I mean, who's been ruling India after the British left? Why haven't these laws been scrapped?
Let me put it this way. If there was something wrong which happened in the past, that can't be a justification to perpetuate it. And I need to point out to the BJP,
you had what?
Well,
50 plus years to get rid of these laws, no?
Let me admit and say that we have evolved as a democracy, and the time is ripe to have a rethink on all provisions which are draconian in nature. Now, coming to the issue of JNU and other such instances, mere sloganeering is not sedition. This is the law of the land which has been propounded by the Supreme Court on numerous occasions. The problem is that it feeds into the BJP's politics of narrative, politics of labeling. Over the past 4 years, they've carried out a classification where they declare people to be national, anti-national, and this feeds into their electoral jingoism. I think it's important in this country that the entire political spectrum, the civil society, needs to sit down and look at all such provisions. We have to move forward. Mere slogans criticizing the government cannot impair the foundation of our country. We're a strong democracy. And
so did we evolve only after the UPA was voted out and the BJP came to power?
Well, I don't
because we should have evolved a very long time ago, and you all should not have put people like Asim Trivedi in behind bars either.
Well, there is an acknowledgement. There is an acknowledgement today that we have to move forward. We have to evolve. There may have been mistakes in the past, but today I think the time is ripe, and we are grappling with a fascist government today. This is a government which is creating an Orwellian state. This is a fascist government which does not leave any scope for dissent. This is a government which rules through propaganda, which rules through surveillance. And I think the time is ripe, and I again reiterate it, to have a rethink on all such provisions. We have to evolve as a mature democracy. We cannot have such provisions on our statute books.
I want to ask Shekhar Gupta that is there a point there that, words like sedition, using National Security Act against those people who allegedly slaughtered cows in BULANDSHAHR, that these actually suit a certain political narrative, which is why they're being bandied about the way that they are. Suddenly, you see so many cases in the last few weeks.
I mean, first of all, different governments have used these to suit their narrative.
Exactly.
Even Indira Gandhi would call people anti-national. Having said that, you have to slice this issue. First of all, no slogan, however offensive, no speech, however abusive, and no pamphlet, however subversive, is sedition. Because by speech, shouting, these things may be illegal, but there are laws to deal with each one of these. Sedition is not the law. So you cannot using sedition for any speech or any writing, any expression of any point of view is not just immoral, it will not stand the test of law, but until then in India, process is the punishment. So people who are charged with this will have to go through this, and not everybody gets a free lawyer to defend him. Second thing is, each case is different. This is a JNU case. For the government, it's a very big political thing for the central government, because this feeds into the tukre business.
Yeah.
The Assam case is a different case, because Hiren Gohain, the 80-year-old scholar, actually is a man of the left who was always opposed to Assamese chauvinism in the past. So the leaders of the Assam movement, who are pretty much part of the BJP now, and in fact the chief minister is a former ASU leader, they didn't like him then, and he was pilloried by them then. He has now come on an unusual side, because the Citizenship Act now draws a distinction between Hindu foreign nationals and Muslim foreign nationals. So he has come at it from a different angle, but now the former Assam agitators who are fighting to preserve their ethnicity.
It's not seditious.
It's not at all seditious. So now he's got no friends at this point. The BJP is not his friend, and the left counts for nothing. Completely not sedition. The third case, Manipur, once again, if you hear that video or see that video, which I have, one, it's not really journalism that you and I would endorse. Second,
Still doesn't make it.
It definitely isn't.
It might be distasteful. It might be unethical.
It has the F word 7 times,
Fine.
including for the Prime Minister and the Chief Minister, etc., etc. So it's not journalism, but just because you are angry, it can get you angry. You can't lock up somebody for 1 year under NSA. Having said that, I think NSA has a place in our system because India faces grave internal and external security
But then
threats.
it has to be used against terrorists and the right people who threaten the country's security.
Let me complete what I'm saying. That's why a very elaborate system was set up to ensure that NSA is implemented right. That has been held in breach. This came out very clearly when Chandrasekhar Azad, the Dalit leader in UP, was locked up in jail for a long time. So the review processes, the supervision processes are not working. NSA should be used very, very, very exceptionally and sparingly, but now to use it for alleged cow slaughterers is a complete misuse
how
of
is
the law.
NSA against cow slaughterers? Now, if you're going to say कि इन लोगों की वजह से राइटिंग हुई, जिन लोगों ने पुलिस वाले को मारा, पुलिस ऑफिसर को मारा, उनके खिलाफ क्या?
इससे पहले सपा की जब गवर्नमेंट थी तो निधि जी आपको याद
होगा? आम आपके गवर्नमेंट की बात कर रहे हैं।
मैं उसको बता रहा हूँ, कम से कम आप उस समय आप रिसर्च करेंगे, गुप्ता सर भी रिसर्च करेंगे, 35 से ज्यादा यंग लड़कों पर NSA उनके खिलाफ था और गृह मंत्रालय में पेंडिंग थे इश्यूज।
टारगेट बीट करना है क्या?
और नहीं, टारगेट नहीं करना है। नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं सर, बिल्कुल नहीं। मैं फिर कह रहा हूं, हमारी फासिस्ट गवर्नमेंट नहीं है, डेमोक्रेटिक गवर्नमेंट है। मैंने फिर कहा, चाहे नॉर्थ इंडिया हो या ईस्ट इंडिया हो या असम का इशू हो, हमारा जहां पर भी ये सेडिशन आप कह रहे हैं या NSA जहां पर भी लगाया है, ये रूल ऑफ लॉ को जिन्होंने ब्रेक किया है, तो रूल ऑफ लॉ को मेंटेन करने के लिए ऐसा हुआ होगा। कहीं पर बदले की भावना से हमारी गवर्नमेंट काम नहीं कर रही है। लेकिन जिस चश्मे से आप लोग देखने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, मैं माफी चाहता हूं, मैं उसका विरोधी हूं, क्योंकि आप एक चश्मे से देखना चाहते हैं कि देश के अंदर जो एंटी मूवमेंट चलाएगा वो एक एक्टिविस्ट बन जाता है। एक नया फैशन हो गया इस देश के अंदर और एक ऐसा नैरेटिव सेट होता जा रहा है कि आप जितना ज्यादा अगेंस्ट में बोलेंगे तो बीजेपी की राष्ट्रीयता को धक्का लगेगा, तो हम लोगों को बड़ा अच्छा लगेगा। अरे बीजेपी की राष्ट्रीयता और कांग्रेस की राष्ट्रीयता क्या होती है? नेशनलिज्म एक नेशनलिज्म होता है। अगर आप काउ स्लॉटिंग में लॉ है, आप उसको तोड़ेंगे, उसकी वजह से दंगे भड़केंगे और उसकी वजह से बहुत बड़ा
जिन लोगों ने पुलिस ऑफिसर को मारा।
देखिए मैम, ये अभी कहना बहुत जल्दबाजी होगी। पुलिस ऑफिसर की हत्या हुई है, इस बात को लेकर के सभी लोग दुखी हैं। सिर्फ कोई ऐसा नहीं है कि हम लोग दुखी नहीं है और आप लोग दुखी है या आप लोग दुखी नहीं है।
गाय के साथ जो हुआ वो और ज्यादा दुख है।
देखिए, हमारे लिए गाय संस्कृति का भी केंद्र है। बार बार इसको मजाक में लिया जाता है, ये दिस इज नॉट फेयर।
व्हाट अबाउट ह्यूमन बीइंग?
और नहीं, वो भी है हमारे लिए मानवीयता।
तो ये NSA ऐसे क्यों यूज किया जा रहा है?
NSA इसलिए यूज किया जाता है कि जहां पर एक छोटी घटना को वो एक कारण बन सकता है। जब तक छोटी छोटी बीमारियों को ऑपरेशन नहीं होगा सर।
NSA इसके लिए नहीं बना
सर। देखिए, मैं जानता हूं सर NSA इसके लिए नहीं बना, लेकिन आपको बड़ा कैंसर हो जाए किसी चीज से, बिल्कुल रूल ऑफ लॉ वहां ब्रेक हो जाए, कानून व्यवस्था बिगड़ जाए,
किसी को कैंसर हो जाए, आप जहर देके पहले ही मार देंगे।
नहीं, ऐसा नहीं कर रहे सर। हमारे यहाँ भी लोग बहुत ही ज्यादा हाईली क्वालिफाइड हैं, वो लॉ को कैसे इस्तेमाल करना है वो कर रहे हैं।
जब तक लॉ पे कोर्ट बोलता है, वो गरीब आदमी तो फंसा रहता है ना जेल में इतने दिन।
नहीं,
चंद्रशेखर आजाद गरीब है देखा जेल में।
We've got lawyer Mihira Sood with us, and Mihira, you know, the point is that actually over the years, even the Supreme Court has come in and defined when you actually can, you know, invoke the sedition law. It's actually said it has to be the actual use of violent means to overthrow a democratically elected government. But nobody is listening to that. Or is any government really interested in listening?
No. The Supreme Court has said as far back as 1963 that even the harshest criticism, for instance, of a government does not amount to sedition,
even
does not amount to even abuse. You know, there has to be an invocation to violence. There has to be a clear and direct. Invocation to violence with clear cause and effect being established. And in a case like this, I think what is really striking is the fact that religious sentiments are being framed as nationalism, when in fact neither of them have anything to do with what the sedition law is about, which is to try and somehow overthrow or undermine the idea of the state. The government is only important insofar as it represents the state.
Absolutely. So juxtaposing those arguments, Adil.
I think my friend in the BJP needs to understand that BJP is not India. Please understand this. And you talk about the rule of law, it's a joke. You have subverted every institution in this country, whether it's the CBI, whether it's the RBI, whether it's the judiciary. And something which Shekhar Sir must have followed because he covered Punjab very closely. There was the case of Balwant Singh versus State of Punjab, where there were some secessionists who made inflammatory slogans in the heart of Chandigarh. The Supreme Court said, sorry, this is not sedition. There has to be, as a result of those slogans, there has to be violence. So therefore, this is misuse of the law. The Delhi police sat over this file for 3 years. On the eve of the elections, they file a charge sheet to whip up passions. This is nothing but politics at its worst.
But I want to ask Mihira, since you're here, if you could just explain very simply to our viewers, if somebody is, tomorrow if someone slaps a sedition case against one of us, or the National Security Act, what are the implications of that? What does it mean?
I mean,
arrest without bail. What does it mean?
You could get up to even up to life imprisonment under the law, under Section 124 of the IPC. It provides for the burden of proof is reversed, and it provides for punishment that can go up to life imprisonment. So in that situation, there are two categories of punishment there, up to 3 years and up to life imprisonment. And in the latter category, then there is no question of bail either. So it all depends on how severe the charges that are framed against you, how severe they are, and that depends entirely on the police.
I want to ask Bablu, about the Manipur journalist. Then, how is this story playing out there? Do you think you're getting enough support from journalists around the country? Shekhar Gupta's right. I think most journalists would not agree with what he may have put out on that video. But while he has a right to be as offensive as he wants, it's certainly not seditious. Do you feel that journalists are supporting you and supporting him?
Well, in fact, when this particular journalist was framed under IPC, there was absolutely no objection from the civil society or the human rights community. He should face the wrath of the law if he have made some comments which is not up to the mark. But definitely put someone under NSA for speaking the F word is completely ridiculous. And there is absolutely no correlation between what he spoke and threat to national security. And therefore, the problem is, since this is now being used for political reasons, he was opposing and he was angry of celebrating Rani Jhansi and drawing a parallel between the freedom movement in Manipur and Rani Jhansi as a symbol of it. This is also completely ridiculous because in 1857, when the first war of independence happened, Manipur was a separate kingdom and not even under the British control. So this parallel was also absolutely ridiculous. But in trying to push a Hindutva agenda and trying to bring in a common, Hindutva agenda, his protest and his anger was seen as something that could escalate other forms of outbreak of opinions. So by suppressing this voice, the government is effectively putting in the people's mind that if you challenge
for the bad
BJP
connection.
or Hindutva.
Yeah, because Mihira wanted to make a point on what you just said.
See, I think it's very important to understand that the sedition law as it stands in isolation is not what is applicable today, because that is a colonial era law that was brought in only to suppress the local population. What the Supreme Court has done is tried to harmonize that with Article 19(1)A, which is your freedom of speech. So therefore, it's important to understand a couple of things when it comes to Article 19(1)A. Firstly, if there is no right to make offensive speech, there is no need to protect freedom of speech at all. Nobody is going to prosecute you for saying something that is completely inoffensive and doesn't provoke anybody. The entire aim of protecting freedom of speech is to protect provocative and even offensive speech. And secondly, the burden is not on the citizen to have the speech of a certain standard. The burden is on the state to show that the restriction, in this case, the invocation of Section 124 of the IPC, is justified by the restrictions laid down in the Constitution. So even if, as this section stands on its own, even if the burden is on the citizen, that's not how the Supreme Court has interpreted it. And there is no burden on the citizen to elevate their speech to any standard.
In fact, I think Bablu will know it better, but my impression is that the court, when IPC and sedition charges were laid, the court said that sedition is, a case of sedition is not made out. It's after that that the government then went even higher up the sort of escalatory ladder and used NSA. So the court saw that this was not sedition.
But can we agree that sedition has no place in 21st century India?
Absolutely.
Sedition for views, for speech, for writing, for jokes, for abuse, there is no place, because for all those, if they are offensive beyond a level, there are laws. Sedition is not needed. Our country is not made of porcelain. If somebody shouts a slogan against our country, it will break up. But people can be. But India has threats to internal security.
There are people. You have enough laws dealing with that.
Anyway. You don't need a law that mandates affection for the state.
No, that is not necessary, or to a religion. So that's why I've said I'm saying once again that for any views conveyed in any manner, a sedition law does not apply and should not, and ultimately will not apply. It will not. It will fail the test.
गुप्ता सर, मैं समझता हूँ आज के वक्त भी सेडिशन लॉ को और बेहतर और मजबूत होना चाहिए, क्योंकि मैं माफी चाहता हूं सर, मैं नहीं सर, बोलने के लिए मेरे को देश की आजादी मिल गई, मैं राष्ट्रपति भवन पे जाकर कुछ भी शाउटिंग कर दूंगा।
हाँ, करो शाउटिंग।
नहीं सर, बिल्कुल ऐसा नहीं हो सकता।
क्यों?
इस देश के अंदर नियम, रूल ऑफ लॉ, कानून के हिसाब से
शाउटिंग करना।
एक मिनट सर, इस निंदा कानून पर पाकिस्तान में फांसी हो जाती है।
पाकिस्तान से बेहतर नहीं है।
नहीं, हम बहुत बेहतर हैं।
लोग हमें मकौले पुत्र बोलते हैं, लेकिन असली मकौले पुत्र तो ये है।
मैडम एक मिनट,
असली मकौले पुत्र तो ये
आप इस संघीय ढांचे पर आप चोट करेंगे, हम लोग नहीं होने देंगे। आपका एक आइडियोलॉजी है, वो देश के खिलाफ कोई बोले आप उसका समर्थन करेंगे। नहीं, और बिल्कुल ये सारा इशू इसलिए हुआ है ना सर, जेएनयू के अंदर ये सारा का सारा गैंग खड़ा हो गया, बिकॉज ऑफ दिस रीजन आप लोग सबके सब उसके लॉयर बने हुए हैं। दिस इज नॉट फेयर।
आप देखिए, ये हर किसी का अलग पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, आप हर किसी को एक पेंट से एक ब्रश से मत पोतिए। अगर कोई जाके राष्ट्रपति भवन के आगे गाली गलौज करता है, क्या करेगा पुलिस वाला? उसको, जिसको हम कहते हैं 751 सीआरपीसी एप्रीहेंशन ऑफ ब्रीच ऑफ पीस, ले जाएगा, 2 झापड़ मारेगा, बस में रख के डिटेन कर लेगा, ज्यादा करोगे तो हफ्ते भर के लिए कर लेगा, लेकिन उसको साल भर के लिए एनएसए में डालोगे।
नहीं सर, आप जाकर के मेरे देश के खिलाफ आप कुछ भी कह देंगे, वहां पाकिस्तान जिंदाबाद कर देंगे, कश्मीर को आप कह देंगे आजादी के लिए लड़ लेंगे, कौन बर्दाश्त करेगा इसमें?
हमारे पाकिस्तान जिंदाबाद कहने से पाकिस्तान जिंदाबाद है ना।
आप नैरेटिव को मत बदलिए। आप ये नहीं, हमारे यहाँ राजद्रोह और राष्ट्रद्रोह के अंदर आप फर्क नहीं महसूस करना चाहिए।
No need for this rabble rousing.
राजद्रोह और राजद्रोह को एक जैसा मानते, colonial कानून को आप
20 seconds. This is not a political rally.
इकट्ठा एक जैसा
आपको फर्क नहीं समझ आ रहा बिटवीन बोली
आप मैडम देखिए, आप लॉयर हैं, एक्चुअल एक्शन देखिए, आपको गिलास खाली ही नजर आएगा, मुझे आधा भरा हुआ नजर आएगा।
20 seconds, Mr. Jha demonstrating a lack of understanding.
बोली पे कभी कोर्ट में ठहरेगा ही नहीं, लेकिन तब तक
it is only sedition if it's followed with violence.
That is what the Supreme Court is also laid
not
down.
Sedition, sir. Please, we're a country. You said we're a country governed by the rule of law. Let's not convert everything into a BJP pulpit and BJP rabble rousing. We are above this. We're a strong nation.
इमरजेंसी में जो हुआ था, इंदिरा जी ने जिन के ऊपर लगाया था, उस पर रिसर्च करना
चाहिए। Today it's undeclared emergency. Journalists are being snooped. Judges are being snooped. Politicians are being snooped. Officers are being snooped.
आप कुछ भी कोई भी देश के खिलाफ कह देगा, टुकड़े हो जाएंगे, देश अलग हो जाएगा, आप लॉयर खड़े हो जाते हैं।
People who believe that India is that strong or India is so weak that it will be affected by just some mere sloganeering.
Well, these days anti-national is the term that's quickly thrown at you, even if you say anything against the ruling government. But that is a debate that we've all been a part of continuously, especially on social media. Thank you to all of you.
Even if you say something against the Indian cricket team,
then you're anti-national.
Most definitely, even in my book.